Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips. And I'm going to go through a couple of announcements. We have some really exciting stuff coming up, including our annual Prevent Cancer campaign, which starts on September 5th. And we just added some more options in terms of what you can get for your $100 coupon that you get for signing our pledge to learn how to prevent cancer. So we're going to offer some free workshops about that, some free information, and give you a $100 gift card. So we're going to let you apply it to a virtual ticket to our fall conference. That's in addition, and some other things too. So we've expanded the options, what you can do with your coupon. So keep that in mind. And very soon, just a couple weeks away, we're going to be starting to collect pledges and allow you to collect pledges to increase how much credits you get, right? So you could get a whole bunch of free stuff from us if you want to. Another thing is we have 50 options, over 50 options that you can choose from for packages that save you money, including matching funds, all right? Which is an interesting campaign. So rather than go through all of them, it will even let you custom design a package. I mean, we're very flexible and we recognize that right now, many of you are trying to stretch dollars, get professional training, lots of things that you're juggling, and we're going to help you as best we can. Diet, lifestyle, and immune function is next Monday. It's an inexpensive workshop. It's important because it's cold and flu season, and pretty soon we're going to be hearing all about that again. Virtual yoga, I think the class might be full, but I could be convinced to start another class if there are 10 people who want to do it. So don't not talk to us about that because the class is full, because I could schedule another one like during the day or something like that. And then the diet and lifestyle intervention course, the 15 module class that I've talked about often that is taken by lay people and health professionals. It's a great overview course that covers men's health, women's health, children's health, cancer, autoimmune diseases, gastrointestinal disorders, Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, etc. No homework every week, just a project at the end to do if you want credit for it, and you don't have to do that. The other thing I'm going to mention is I am looking for a co-author for my next book, somebody who has writing skills, basically understands what I talk about, and willingness to work on some promotional activities for me and the book as part of the deal. So if you have some interest in this, send me an email about why I should choose you, and I'll get back in touch with you. And then Optimal Health and Life with Pam, I'm going to have some adolescents join. I'll get to that in a minute, but I want to talk about the reason I chose this topic I'm going to talk about for today is that, which is really consistency and struggle, I guess, is the overriding theme. I've been interacting with so many people lately who are just struggling to figure stuff out. And here are some of the issues that people are talking about. One is difficulty making up their mind about what to do about health. This would be a typical conversation. Should I take these supplements or not? I mean, they may be useless, but what if they're helpful and then I stop? Well, maybe I'll just take the bottle and then I'll finish up the bottle and then I'll figure it out. So just postponing the decision, waffling back and forth. I suspect I'm over medicated, but my doctor says I have to take these drugs and I'm scared not to, but I want to stop. And again, the just constant ruminating about it, right? And then another one would be, I'm conflicted about the screening tests. I mean, my doctor wants me to have a full body scan for skin cancer, and I've read what you've written about it, and now I don't know what to do. So just a lot of waffling. And then the other problem closely related to that is the permanent habit change. I mean, your health is not going to improve by doing a lot of things for a short period of time and nothing permanently. So this is some of what I hear. I stopped having cocktails every time I visited with friends for a while, and then I started again because I'm stressed and I think I need it, but then alcohol is a carcinogen, so I probably shouldn't do it. But and I'm not, it's just a couple of glasses of wine here and there, or, whatever, but I think it's probably too much, but I'm not stopping. Another one is I get really disciplined about exercise. I'll go to yoga twice a week, or I'll start running again, and then I do it for a while and I quit. So I have to start over again. And so if I'm honest with myself, I'm no more fit today than I was at the beginning of the year. right? And I think that's maybe something to ask yourself. Where are you today as compared to where you were at the beginning of the year? If you're a candidate for health improvement, and if you haven't made much progress, well, maybe it's time to do something about it. And then the same thing with diet. I start eating well, and then I get distracted by people who make me confused about diet. And then I change my diet, and I'm frustrated because I don't think I'm moving forward. But you get the idea. Lots of confusion and rolling around things in your head all the time and not really getting someplace, or stopping and starting and just a variety of things that you're doing, all in an attempt to get better, which is admirable. I totally get it, but not really resulting in very much happening over the long term. So I want to talk about both of these things. And one of the reasons I was inspired to talk about this is not only because of the feedback that I'm getting from people like you who watch me and read my stuff, but I read this book called Heal Beyond Expectations last week. And I've marked all kinds of spots that we're going to talk about in the workshops that I'm conducting on this book next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. And I saw a lot of that here, that people don't move forward with their health for a variety of reasons, and sometimes a physical injury or an illness that you can't seem to recover from becomes the sign that you need to make changes. That's the short answer. But this book really is full of great information. So I'm going to address just a couple of things that I think are important. And the first one in this place, I mean, we'll do 4 hours of workshops on this next week. I'm not going to try to condense that here, but the first thing is the importance of automaticity. The way that humans form habits that are non-negotiable is automaticity. And it's a way to convert things to not needing to think about them, because if you had to think about them all the time, you would never get anything done. So you always stop at a red light. You don't think about it. You always feed your children. You always pay your bills. You always brush your teeth. You don't think about or ruminate whether or not to do these things, because at some point in time you decided that they were important. They're tied to an outcome you think is important to you. So you just do it, right? You've heard that saying, just do it. Well, it's easy. If all you had to do was repeat a slogan, everybody'd be in great shape, right? Your health promoting habits can be converted to automaticity, but you might need some help in doing it. And so this book, I think, provides some valuable insight as to how to examine what's going on in your head that keeps you from making permanent decisions. And then there are some other things I'll talk about in a second here. Another one is time management. So you've made up your mind that taking care of yourself and practicing good habits is important, but before you know it, the week is gone and you didn't batch cook and you didn't consume healthier meals and the pantry's still full of garbage. And as much as you know that you should work out, you didn't do it. And so, if you can figure these things out for yourself, great. But I've always thought that the past is a good barometer for the future. So if you've been dealing with this for a long time and it's still going on, maybe you can't figure it out by yourself. So this book, or the workshops with this book, and by the way, if you're a professional or above member of Wellness Forum, you are already going to be invited or have been invited to attend these workshops based on the book. And you might read the book on your own, but if you need some help, that's why organizations like us are in business and why we've done so well over the last almost 3 decades now, because most people do need some assistance when they're trying to resolve these issues. So I'll come back to something I mentioned, optimal habits, part 1 and part 2. I only teach them once a year. So that's it. You either take it this fall or you wait till 2024. It's a Friday night, all day Saturday, and it grounds you in everything from how to manage your time to what a health promoting life looks like. It isn't just what you eat. I wish I could tell you that if you just got the diet thing all taken care of, everything's fine. It's not. There's a whole lot more to it than this. This year, I'm allowing adolescents to take part 1. In fact, I'm encouraging families to join the workshop together. And I'm adding some assignments for adolescents so they can use it for homeschool credit if they want to. Or if you have a 14, 15, 16-year-old, 17-year-old, there's nothing in part 1 that would not apply to them. I don't think they want to hear much about memory in part 2 and aging, but in part 1, the information is appropriate for teenagers as well as adults. And a video recording will be made available so that people can watch it again. We'll keep it available for a few months after the live version takes place. And you can pay tuition or you can purchase Smoothie Mix, which is actually cheaper. So why would we do that? Because We're trying to get people to form permanent habits. I mean, the reason why I'm in the shape that I'm in at almost 67 years old is because I have formed the habit of doing things for years. I mean, I changed everything about the way I lived, from what I eat for breakfast to my exercise program 30 some years ago, and it's never varied. And by the way, I let myself have treats. I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to be perfect. I never tried to be perfect, but I have been consistent, and over time it's paid off. I don't take any medications, and I feel great. I have the energy of somebody a third my age, right? So this may be something for you to think about. If you can't do it on your own, and there's nothing wrong with that, because most people can. It's more fun to do it with somebody's help anyway. Then maybe you should think about Optimal Health with Pam, or joining my practice, or something of that nature. So I'm just saying, right? Now, for the confusion issue, it really is possible to arrive at mostly right answers for the issues that you're plagued with, which is everything from, should I take this supplement, to what about a screening test? The medical literature is confusing, and 95% of what you read in journals and what you see online is garbage, right? So you have to discern the 5% that's worth paying attention to. And I'm going to give you some examples just to let you know the kinds of things that you should be thinking about, in terms of how you go about getting to the place where you're a lot more confident about your decisions. You have to determine the difference between something that is statistically significant, but it's clinically meaningless. It just won't change your life at all. And that's the case with many medical interventions. The risk reduction or the level of pain relief or whatever it is that's being measured just doesn't mean much to an individual person. Another one is, you're not anything like the cohort in the study. This is particularly true, for example, for cancer patients, where the risk reduction for recurrence, for example, is based on people who really have not changed their habits as a group, have not changed their habits in any measurable way. So they're going to get a much greater benefit in terms of risk reduction than somebody who's already reduced their risk a whole lot by changing habits. And then sound reasoning, but not sound evidence. The whole vitamin D hoax is based on sound reasoning. There's no evidence to support it, largely, right? So several ways that you can gain some understanding. Membership, all of our members learn how to look at information differently and accurately. You can take my Intro to Nutrition Educator program, which includes some research and writing instruction, or you can take my big research and writing course next year. But the easiest way to get started is just to join Wellness Forum, and you're going to get basic boot camp instruction on a regular basis as part of your membership on how to be more discerning when you read the medical literature, and how to sort out truth from not truth. Most of it's simply not true. And a lot of the stuff that's not true comes from really credible sources, top journals, well-respected experts. And I think if there's anything we've learned in the last few years, is you have to be very careful about putting your health in the hands of experts and well-respected this or that. You have to take care of it yourself, right? That's what my work has been all about, is empowering people to do this on their own. So this message is a little bit longer today, but the question I leave you with is this. Here we are in the late August, and if you're like most people, you start the year all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed about how it's going to be different than last year in many ways, including your health. And so where are you in that journey? If you're doing swell, everything's going great, you feel great, you're confident about all your choices, that's one thing. If not, if you haven't made the type of progress that you would like to have made, well, then maybe it is time to say, I'm probably not going to be able to do this on my own. I had to do it on my own when I started, but the reason I started this company is because I wish I didn't have to do it on my own. I figured it out by trial and error, and it took a whole lot more time, and it postponed my getting better for a whole lot longer because there was nobody to show me what to do and how to look at all this stuff, right? So, well, that's it. That's all for today. As usual, pass this on to anybody who you think would enjoy watching it. If anything that I've talked to you about, workshops, free stuff, the opportunity to write a book with me, any of that stuff's interesting, my email address is pampopper@msn.com. That's it for today, and I'll be back to you tomorrow with more news.